Hello aspirants, welcome to CSAT FIT PYQs. This is question asked in CSAT paper 2024. See, if we see, this is Venn diagram based question, right? So in an examination, 80% students passed in English, 70% students passed in Hindi, and 50% failed in both. So one thing we need to keep in mind is in Venn diagram based questions, first we need to focus on both the things. So this is two attributes based. So this represents English and this represents Hindi. So now see the 15% failed. So जब both दिया है तो हम failed वाले चीज पे अब बाकी the 80% students passed in English and 70% students passed. So we need to convert this passed thing also into failed because the both aspect is in failed form. So see, if 80% students passed in English, that means, so see, total 100% students say, so out of 100, 80% passed in English. That means the remaining 20% failed because see, either you pass in an exam or you fail in an exam. So 80% pass in English, that means 20% failed in English. So failed in English is what? 100% minus 80%. Okay, so that is 20%. So 20% students failed in English and failed in Hindi. That is, see, 100% minus 70%. So that is 30%. So 30% failed in Hindi and 20% failed in English and 15% failed in both. So 15% failed in both Hindi and English. However, see, this is failed in both. Now, if failed in Hindi, only in Hindi is 30%. So 30% failed in Hindi, but the 15% is already who failed in both. So this means the ones who failed only in Hindi, okay, only in Hindi, that is 30 minus 15%. So that is 15%. So 15% failed only in Hindi and failed only in English. Only in English is, see, total 20% failed in English. This is 20% and 15% failed in both. जो इसमें भी हुआ. So 20 minus 15%. So that is 5% जो है 5% failed in only English. So this is only English part 5%. Okay, and this is only Hindi part, that is 15% and both. So now the question is, what is the percentage of students who failed in only one subject? So only one subject, so only in English. So 5% failed in only English plus 15% failed in only Hindi. So that is 20%. So 20% failed in only one subject. So option B, 20% is the answer. See, this 15% failed in both. So 15% failed in both, 20% failed in only one subject. So option B is the answer.